The pedals clattered under the force. Had my bike always creaked like this? Did the pedals always whine every time I pushed down on them? My bike wasn't the only one crying, though. My tears fell as the wind cut through them. They rode the breeze and scattered behind me. Ugh. I hate this. I hate this. I'm not the crazy one. Hinamizawa is. How dare you treat me like a madman? Die! Die! Just fucking die already! I believed you. I believed you! Ah! I'd gone to the hospital in order to escape Reina and Mion's invitation. But the reality that was waiting for me had been too cruel. Who was insane, me or Hinamizawa? Or was the answer something else? I started having trouble breathing. I didn't have any clue what was happening anymore. The loud chirps of the Higurashi were irritating me. Were even the Hinamizawa Higurashi I knew so well calling into the wind? No, that wasn't quite it. They weren't calling. They were crying. The pained wailing of those lost in some kind of rhythm in another world, no longer able to return to their own sunlight. I didn't do all that to end up in a world like that. And actually, at about this time, I might have been having fun with everyone else. Satoko would have gotten her smile back after realizing her uncle would never come home, and she might have shown it to us at our first club meeting in a while. That was the kind of world I wished for. So what was this? Why did I end up in such a strange, ghastly world? Someone I'd killed was living like normal, and I had enjoyed myself at the festival despite not being there. I don't want it. I don't want this strange world. When did it start to go wrong? When? When? No matter how much I thought about it, I never understood. I rode swiftly and returned to my home. It had begun to rain during my journey back, and just like yesterday, I was now soaked. But I didn't care about something so trivial right now. The pain I felt in my heart that Coach, the one person I trusted, was acting so cruelly was far worse. Did I have no allies in Hinamizawa anymore? Hello, infantryman. With the naive thought that I at least wanted my parents to side with me, I stepped up to the front door. Wait, Keiichi. It'll be dark soon. There's something you want to check, right? The cicadas are apparently taunting us now. That's how they're doing. Yes. I wanted to dig up the man's corpse and get a look at his back. If there was a tiger tattoo there, I would know beyond a doubt he was Satoko's uncle. That long night wouldn't end until I was certain. If this insane world was all reparation, all a divine punishment, then I needed to make certain whether or not I had been successful enough to even deserve to pay that price. I went to the storage room again and got the shovel. It had been washed in the rain, but the paint was peeling, making it look unsightly. I never ever wanted to touch this thing again. The sensation of it in my hand was totally different from the night before. There was a ruthless coldness about it. Yeah, it would be dark soon, so I'd need the lantern too. There would be a little bit of light from the street lights, but it would get extremely dark. I thought I'd put the lantern here, but I suddenly noticed it wasn't anywhere to be found. What would I do if I were Keiichi right now? Well, if I were Keiichi right now, I wouldn't be in this situation to start with, but, you know. What would I do? That is a really good question. I wouldn't have gone to the hospital and confessed. I would have just accepted my good luck. Everybody thinks I was somewhere else. Uncle may be dead and Satoko may be lying about it. But I would, but considering we're past that point now, I would definitely want to verify that the uncle is dead. But I would do it more by swinging by Satoko's house and seeing if the uncle shows up to answer the door, instead of, digging up the body. Then it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Of course. On that night I hadn't brought the lantern back with me. I'd left it at the place I buried the body. If I didn't go to get it soon, it would get very dark. And then not only would I be unable to find the spot I buried the corpse, but I wouldn't even be able to find the lantern itself. If that happened, it was all over.
Isogo.
Well, apparently he had it in school, but other than that, I don't know. In order to fit the shovel in the basket on the front of my bike, I'd need to twist it and disassemble it. But it looked like there was dirt in the joints, and no matter how hard I pushed, it didn't want to come apart. After a strenuous effort, I realized I couldn't get it apart, so I decided to hold it in one hand and ride my bike with the other. Again. With the downpour soaking me through and a shovel in one hand. And riding one-handed. It was as if I'd returned to that night. No, return was the wrong word. It was more like that night had never ended. The pain of the raindrops striking me were no different from then. The thing that was different was Hinamizawa, the world, and nothing else. The rain clouds were already making it dark, and now was about time for the sun to set. I could tell it would only get rapidly darker. The straight road leading to town, in the middle of it, that should be where I buried it. Yeah, it was near that streetlight. On that night, too, the water from the downpour was splashing down from the streetlight's overhang like a waterfall. The pouring rain was exactly the same as it had been that night, and thus it brought my memories into focus. And see, the biggest clue that he may not have actually killed the uncle so far? The biggest clue he may not have killed the uncle was the fact that it took him that long to kill him with the metal bat. A few good strikes with the metal bat should have rendered him unconscious and unable to continue running like that. I'm just saying. If I could hang out with any post-Watanagashi character right now, who would it be? Probably Mion. Probably. Or yeah, I mean, if you're talking about any character that was introduced post the second game, that's pretty much two of them. And I don't want to hang out with either of them. But yeah, we are only in Chapter 3 right now. Just to let you know, and I don't know what happens in Chapters 4 and 5. So I don't know any of the other characters. I left my bike in the brush and stepped into the forest, the ground already soaked with mud. Where had I buried him? Think. The darkness, the shadows, the water, the mud. Everything was the same. Think. And then I spotted the lantern by a fallen, moss-covered tree. That's right, I left it right there. If I left the lantern here, then I would have buried him over here. With the sensation of standing in the sludge, my feet remembered the spot better than my eyes did. I plunged my shovel into the ground. It's hard. It wasn't here. I just dug it up, so it should have been softer. I'm not surprised. I stuck my shovel down in a few spots to test what they feel like. One of them clearly felt deeper. I recalled where the lantern was, where the trees and things were in relation to each other, and knew that it had to be there. Under here slept that man's corpse. Mion at the damn construction site? Was that... That was towards the end of the first game, wasn't it? I think it was. There would definitely be the tattoo of a tiger on his back. But if it wasn't there, then I'd made a horrible mistake and killed someone completely unrelated instead. I'd be more dazed at the fact that Satoko's uncle wasn't dead than I would be at regretted having gotten someone else mixed up in this. If this insane world was punishment for the sin of committing murder, I wouldn't be able to accept it until I killed Satoko's uncle for good. And then, without any fear, I'd attack him again. And that time, I would kill him for sure. But what if the tattoo was there? That would mean I'd killed Satoko's uncle. But that would be terribly strange. If I'd killed him for sure, then who was the uncle at Satoko's house this very moment that we haven't actually confirmed the existence of? Impossible. I didn't even know anymore what I was using the word impossible to refer to. I'd used the word quite a few times today. If I had to make the words impossible fit just one thing, what would it be? That much was obvious to me.
こんなおかしな世界がありえてたまるかよ
I shouted, then turned behind me. There was nobody there, of course. It hadn't been bothering for a while, but those footsteps had followed me this entire day. Even just now, an extra set of footsteps had splashed behind me. No one was actually there. No indications of anyone even. But they were there.
あんたは誰だ俺がこっちの世界に来てからずっとついてくるな
Thinking back, the first time I'd heard those footsteps was after Takano-san and I had parted. Those footsteps were my welcome into the strange inside-out world. No one could be there. I'd get no response. Whoever it was, they just kept staring at me. It wasn't ominous, just unpleasant. After staring into empty space for a bit, as I bathed in the rain, my illogical anger slipped away. My tension loosened, and a tired feeling reared its head. I tasted this feeling that night, too. The sudden exhaustion as I felt as the tension in my brain loosened. My vision quickly narrowed, and I felt like everything around me had suddenly gotten darker. I couldn't give in to this sensation. I would light what little explosives were left in my brain and force myself to keep going. I needed to dig that man up before my stamina ran out. I needed to see the tattoo on his back. I caught my suddenly ragged breath and calmed down. Then, I stuck the shovel into the soft, muddy ground again. It felt exactly the same as that night. The sense of digging a hole in the beach with water coming into it with every wave. What day was today? Had I gone back to the night of Watanagashi? Every strange thought that came to mind tormented me. Given my exhaustion, I didn't think I could manage to hold those thoughts back. Once the hole was deep, all illumination finally faded, blanketing my vision in jet black. It was probably the moment the sun had fully set too. That night I had feared the worst, and gone without using much light. My senses were so strained that I could see even in that darkness. But now, I didn't have that kind of strength left. I drained everything I had last night, and now the darkness would be lethal. I decided to turn on the lantern. Putting it on the first setting would make it give off a faint light. Even with how little there was, it was enough, and people wouldn't be able to see it from very far away in this rain. I grabbed the chilled lantern, turned the dial with a click, and set it to the weakest light setting, and turned it on. An uncanny world of silhouettes appeared before me. A complex and strange shadowy world, created by the intricate entanglement of trees and branches. I had only turned on the light, and it was like that was all it took to make the world into something else. I let out a quick, tired breath and wiped the liquid, neither rain nor sweat, from my brow. Then I raised the shovel into the air and slammed it into the mud. That moment, The silhouettes surrounding me, ominously, all moved at once. Inside my head, something packed in there, something coarse but not hot or cold, was loudly rushing about. The silhouettes were all around me, looking down at me. And one of them, a silhouette bigger than the others, stepped forward.
Konbanwa.
Yay! We're doomed.
月の綺麗な晩ですね。
The coarseness in my brain shot through my whole spine and left me at my waist. What are my predictions for what will happen next? If we're just talking the immediate future, Keiichi didn't actually manage to kill anybody. Oishi just sees him digging out here. Oishi got a call from the, Oishi got a call from the hospital, basically, saying that Keiichi here was acting very irrationally and very strangely and needed to be, secured for his own well-being. We get hospitalized, and then the demon of Hinamizawa in the form of Takano-san comes and murders us again. That seems about right. The strength in my body all left me through my hips, and I crouched down with a splash. Into the sea of mud I dug myself.
おいし
目上の人にはその後に3もつけるとなおよろしいかと思いますよ。そうでないと大人になってからいろいろと苦労します。
Think of it, Oishi wasn't even that terrible this time. I mean, he was still pretty much a sleazeball, but it didn't seem like he really did a ton this time. It wasn't only Oishi, but 5 or 6 of them in a row, men wearing raincoats. I had no inkling that this many people had gotten so close. Like I said, he didn't do that much. He didn't really punch us. He just squeezed pressure points on our shoulder. It was like once I turned on the lantern, they just appeared there, sliding out of the shadows.
どうぞ私たちのことは気にしないでください。森の木立だとでも思って。
Yeah, Oishi is an amazing freaking detective. Well, I didn't say he was perfect or anything. I said he wasn't that bad. Not compared to previous chapters. Yeah, he did the pressure point thing and he did threaten Keiichi. But here's the thing, that's pretty much all he did. He didn't actually try to manipulate Keiichi beyond that. He just kind of left him alone. Until now. Don't mind them?
そうです。私たちのことは気にされず、どうぞ穴掘りをお続けになってください。こんな時間にこんな土砂降りの中で、そんなにも真剣にやっているんですからね。邪魔なんかしませんよ。心ゆくまで掘っちゃってください。
No thank you, I said. When I tried to get up and turn around, 2 men blocked that route. They stood on either side of me and lifted me up with amazing strength, and then threw me into the sea of mud. As I soaked in the mud bath I dug for myself, I looked up at the silhouettes looking down at me. Oishi squatted, picked up my shovel, and threw it at my feet for me. It bounced loudly off the mud and hit me in the face.
ほら、続きをどうぞ。続きを。
I couldn't bear the oppressiveness of the silhouettes surrounding me, and slowly I stuck the shovel into the mud again. I felt like I was digging my own grave. If I kept digging, it wouldn't matter whether there was a tattoo or not, because that man's corpse would appear eventually. It was all over, surrounded on all sides, and nowhere to go. But I just couldn't figure it out, no matter how much I thought about it. Why were they here? Was it Takano-san? There was only one person who could have made the connection between me and this place. Shit, I knew it. She deserved to die.
手が休んでますよ。
Oishi kicked me in the back, which took me by surprise, sending me flying into the mud.
ちゃっちゃと掘っちゃってくださいよ。
I wonder if this is really Oishi. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to act like this and to actually kick or slap Keiichi.
雨の中
But
で
you
待
know.
たされる方の身にもなってほしいもんです。
くそ、そんなに雨が嫌なら帰ればいいだろう。
Oishi kicked some mud into my face.
口より先に手を動かしてください。口と手を一緒に動かすのは落語家だけ。ねえ。
The men around him didn't react, not knowing quite whether they should laugh. But when Oishi glared at them, they started mumbling out pained chuckles. Just who was this guy? I knew the world had changed after that night. But if I went even further back, didn't it start when this guy showed up? That was when our peaceful days had been taken from us. Ever since he showed up in Hinamizawa, things had been odd. Everyone stopped smiling and the world went crazy. The ground under my feet gradually got harder and heavier. Yeah, he's definitely more of an asshole in the traditional way, but like I said, he really didn't bother us throughout most of the chapter. It was just that one moment, instead of constantly showing up and harassing us. At this point, even I started to think something was odd. I hadn't buried him this deep on that night, had I? My exhaustion peaked and I sat down on the spot.
いつまで掘ればいいんだよ。
最近の若い人は体力がありませんね。おい。
At Oishi's gesture, the men all pulled out their own sinister-looking shovels. Yes, we're up to this. As I watched a daze, one of them grabbed my collar, dragged me out of the hole, and threw me to the ground. The rest of the men stepped into the hole I dug and started shoveling themselves. As I stared at them, dumbfounded, Oishi sauntered over and squatted down to look at me directly.
前原圭一さん。あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかな。
When I didn't respond, Oishi took one of the tin buckets they were using to bail out the muddy water, scooped up some of it, and splashed the whole thing in my face.
今日は大雨ですから。
Now see, the thing is, Oishi is fully expecting to find a body down where they're digging. When they don't find one, he's got some splaining to do.
これ以上いくら濡れても全然わかりませんね。
Oishi smiled to himself, then scooped up another bucket full of muddy water.
もう一回聞きますよ。あなたの趣味は雨の夜の穴掘りですかな。
そんな趣味のやついるもんか。
Oishi hit me with another bucket full of muddy water. The pebbles in it stung.
あの穴を掘ると何が出てくるんですかな。私 花坂じいさんのここ掘れワンワンってのが昔から憧れでしてね。
Yeah, he's kind of cottoned on here. We know that. As he spoke, he ran the bucket through the muddy water again, to splash it in my face again.
あそこにどんな宝物が埋まってるんですかね。
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
私にちょっとだけでも教えてくれませんか。
If you want to know, then dig on your own time. You fucking pig. I wasn't saying that out loud, but Oishi mercilessly drenched me in the muddy water again anyway. Shit! If only you hadn't shown up, the world wouldn't have gone wrong. Ever since you showed up, things have been strange. Satoko got abused by her uncle. I ended up killing him, and the world went crazy. He was how it all began. Because of this culprit. He splashed another bucket of mud in my face. My insides were seething with anger. Die. You die too. If I have some strange power to kill someone by cursing them, like with Takano-san, then you're dead. And it won't be Oyashiro-sama's curse, it'll be mine. I'll curse you and kill you.
反抗的な目つきですね。これを機に少しそのあたりをお勉強してしまいましょうか。
I'm pretty sure the uncle did a few things wrong. I'm just gonna say.
今は平和な時代ですがね。私があなたくらいだった頃は何でも鉄拳制裁が普通でして。
おいさん。
One of the digging men in raincoats wiped off some sweat off and called Oishi over. Oishi tossed the bucket away, then turned with it round with an evil grin on his face.
はいはい、何でしょうか。
これを見てください。
Oh, did they actually find a body? Acceptance or resignation. I wanted to say to them, so you blockheads finally found it. Yeah, that's right. I'm the one who killed him. But you're the police, so it's your own job to figure out who he is, right? Come on, prove to me that he's really Satoko's uncle.
何ですかこりゃ。
多分古い排水管ではないかと。あそこの用水路につながっているようです。
ぶっ壊しちゃいましょうか。どうせ使ってない缶でしょ。
The men all exchanged glasses, then hesitantly broached another topic.
おいさん、もうかなり手応えが固いです。これより深くってことはありえないと思います。
掘る場所を間違えました。
いえ、初めのうちは明らかに掘り返す感触でした。ですが、このくらいを掘った頃から急に硬くなりまして、多分もともと掘った穴よりも深く掘り進んだのだと思います。
じゃあ、つまり何ですか。
It means you just kicked around a kid and splashed water in his face for digging a hole.
ここには穴があって何もなく、ただそのまま埋め直されたと。皆さんそうおっしゃるわけで。
What? What were they talking about?
こりゃ参ったな。ねえ、前原さん。
Yeah. Satoko's uncle is a selfless saint. Uh-huh. Oishi grabbed my collar and dragged me to the huge hole they dug. The mud inside was like an ocean, and I couldn't see any drain pipe down there. One of the men stirred it with a shovel, letting me hear it clang against something hard. There was no doubt I'd buried him right there. But I hadn't buried him this deep. I didn't dug deep enough to unearth an entire drain pipe. So, then, this man, his corpse, where was it? Proof that I'd been successful on that night was gone. Gone. Then, what on earth was I actually crazy after all? And just possessed by this delusion that I'd killed someone? That couldn't be. It was the unmistakable truth. It couldn't have been hallucination. But now the most important evidence that it hadn't been an illusion was gone. I killed him. I buried him. I had absolute unwavering confidence in that fact. Then did I fail to kill him? After I left here, had he started breathing again, crawled out, and gone back to Satoko's house? Was that it? I'd come here to see whether he had a tattoo or not. And yet the truth I unearthed was far more than that. Yesterday, what was I? I killed him. I buried him. There was no doubt. But for some reason he lived and crawled back out. And that was impossible too. I'm so tired of hearing the word impossible over and over. I get it. Dead people don't like to play by the rules here in Hinamizawa. Then I'll kill you as many times as I need to. I'll keep killing you until you never show your face to Satoko again. Oishi and the others were muttering to each other. Eventually, their conversation ended, and Oishi came towards me. What did he want to say? What did he want to do? I stiffened, tensing up, and then Oishi just ignored me like I wasn't even there and passed right by me. The other men, too, they all ignored me and shuffled away. Eventually, there was no longer a sign that anyone was around, and I returned to my quiet world of silhouettes. The only one left here was me. Only the sound of the pouring rain filled up the silence. Yeah, Chapter 3 has definitely been better written than Chapters 1 and 2. Definitely has been better with the whole mystery thing. Okinomiya Police Station Command Center Transmission Recording. June 20, 8:08 p.m.
こちら沖宮 PS 感度良好です。
車両ナンバー紹介をお願いします。獅子骨歯の4344。
副将獅子骨歯の4344。少々お時間もらえますがよろしいですか？
お願いします。
Number match. Double X X quadruple X. Owner blank. Address blank dash blank. Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Yeah, they're clearly saying the numbers in the region there. Vehicle make and model blank blank. Theft reports none. Special mentions nothing of note.
沖宮 PS より大石社どうぞ。先ほどのナンバーが判明しました。大石社どうぞ。大石社応答願います。あれ？電波悪いのかな。大石社応答願出ませんね。
大石さんが車両紹介？誰の車だよ。
村人の車ですね。至って平凡な。
何者だよ。大石さんが聞いてくるからにはただ者じゃないんだろ。
突起事項欄は完全に空欄ですね。S 号指定もなし。減点もなしだし。
パッシングでもされて腹が立ったんじゃないの？あの人 根に持つとなかなか忘れないタイプなんだよ。
Yeah, don't know what's up with Luigi. Do not know. He said it smelled. He said the food smelled. He said it smelled because I smelled. He said I smelled because I don't take baths. Oh good, we're getting some point of view from Satoko, I take it. He said to take a bath 3 times a day because I was a smelly person. He said I had to stay in the bath for a long time every time. He must be possessed by something too. This is the same thing the man who died said. Why does he know what that man said before? That much is obvious. The same thing that possessed that man is now possessing him. Can't a sudden earthquake make a big hole in front of the house? If it did, he would definitely go and look into it. And then I just have to push him in. I won't give in till I get that chance. I won't give in. I won't cry. I won't give in. I won't cry. Someone's apologizing again. How many pages are we up to? 3? Those two put it up to 3. So, Keiichi has apparently completely lost it. What a surprise. Yeah. That last chapter took about 3 hours. That was a fairly lengthy little chapter there. Had to stretch. Anyway, with a few things to think about suddenly stretched out on the table there, I believe it's time to call this a stream. Did Keiichi actually commit murder? Is Keiichi completely insane now? Who can tell? Who can say except the writers of the game, and they aren't talking to me? Because they don't know me. Why would they? Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for talking with me in chat. Next Saturday, we will be back with more When They Cry. And, maybe the next 2 chapters will actually shed the light on what is really going on here. Or maybe, just like every other game, they will completely try to obfuscate all the, actual goings on. Who knows? Anyway, I will also be back tomorrow with what should be the finale for Mother 3, if people are correct in what they're saying to me. So until then, take care, folks. I will see you back. Oh yeah, if we do finish Earthbound early enough, Earthbound, yeah. If we do finish the Mother series game labeled number 3 early enough, we will be jumping into Bendy. But anyway, take care, folks. I will see you back either tomorrow or next Saturday. As always, music. But for now, I go.